All right. Well, good morning, everybody, or afternoon, depending on what time zone you're dialing into. Today is October let me just double check. I think it's the 7th of 2021, and it certainly feels like fall where I am. I think that it is officially turned. But I'm just excited today because every week, my goal is to bring to you tips and tricks and hacks from very successful entrepreneurs. And if we can, learn from their mistakes or glean from their knowledge and take some time off our learning curve, our success is going to be a lot faster because sometimes it can be lonely out there to be an entrepreneur. And so those of you who are thinking about being an entrepreneur, look, you're already entrepreneurs and want to take it to the next level, then this show is for you. And every week I interview somebody, and today is no different. Today I'm super excited to introduce to you somebody who really has an incredible education acumen when it comes to storyboarding online. And I think it's important because it's such a confusing and scary world out there when we talk about online. As a business owner, there's so many things to think about, from websites to social to you name it. And so today we're going to bring on board here her real passion is graphic design. She has a whole team of folks behind her that can help us navigate, the online presence. But I'm just really excited to introduce to you today, Chwen Lim. So thank you so much for being on the show. I'm excited to have you here today. And first questions I always ask my guests, and I think it's important to know, is how on earth, number one, it's easier to navigate the country that you live in. You're an immigrant, you came here, didn't even know any of the systems. It's so impressive to see somebody not be able to speak the language, not know the system, come in here and be a fabulous entrepreneur. So walk us through the journey on, how you got to the United States and what prompted you to be an entrepreneur. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this.
Wow, thank you, Kai. I'm so honored to be on your show. I've watched all your past episode was so good. Yeah. Well, I came from Singapore. I do speak a little bit of English. When we come here, I actually came with a degree in graphic design already. But my professor told me, he said, Chen, don't just do graphics. You have to go into web. And that was what? Web? I'm more a creative person, not the coding kind. But I took his advice. So while we were here in San Jose, my husband worked as an engineer. So I couldn't work at that time because of the visa status. Or what did I do is I actually went to school and I pursued another degree in web design, and just thought that, okay, coming from Singapore, we are always like, you have to go to school. You got to learn something before you can do something. I didn't actually have an entrepreneur mindset. I was pregnant with 4 months, my first child. I thought, okay, I'm going to stay home and look after him. And then me and my husband, we discussed, if we're able to work, who's going to take care of our son? And I'm sure a lot of listeners are like me. You may start as like a stay-home mom, even though we have degree, we have the skill, but your children come first, right? You want to stay home, look after them, at the same time pursuing your master degree, your postgraduate degrees, and at the same time you slowly provide this kind of product and services. That's what I started. Yeah, stay home
You, there,
mom, do freelance. Mm-hmm.
there's so many nuggets in there. One is that I gleaned out of that is, get a coach and get a mentor. And then, for crying out loud, listen to them. So you had a coach and a mentor that told you to get involved in the web, and you took their advice. The other nugget I got out of there was, no matter what happens, you couldn't work. So if you can't do whatever you need to do, whether it's during the great pause with COVID, find a way that you can still advance yourself. You went to school. So, people that couldn't work during COVID, I mean, work harder on yourself than you do on your business. And then the last thing I got out of that was sometimes being an accidental entrepreneur, which is, I think, how kind of all of us got involved. Like, I got fired and I'm like, all right, skip it. I'm just going to go do my own thing. Then it ends up working out because you don't have a lot of choices if you've got a
True,
job. I mean, you have
true.
to go to work. You have to do what they tell you to do. That's a really interesting. I love that. And I know that we actually met networking, and I recruited you to my BNI, and you're a good little
I
recruiter
know.
to all of our networking. So talk about how important networking has been, from being an entrepreneur and then now, taking this on as as a full-time thing, because now your kids are grown and you're actually not just treating it like a hobby. It's a real business for you now.
Yeah, wow, very good question. When I started networking, it was my chiropractor that told me. My son was only four years old, and she said, Chuen, You're not going to stay home. People won't find you. You don't have that contact like you have in Singapore. You have to go out networking. I was shy. I can teach in the classroom, but when you want me to stand, among all the 30 people pitching whatever you're doing, I'm shy. But she told me, join BNI. BNI will help you. They have training session that teach you how to do your two minutes infomercial. And really, I'm very thankful to BNI. I actually built my business with BNI for 9 years, and I stopped for 6 years because of traveling. And only last year, because of pandemic, I was like, what am I going to do? I don't want to stay and just do nothing. Can I try any online meeting? I don't want to go to meetup.com. So the first thing that came to mind is BNI. Then I met you at the Christy Rogers event, and I heard that you were from BNI, and then you were always so passionate about it. I said, man, I have to go back. So, I was checking a few BNI at the same times, and I got drawn to your chapter, and so you became my sponsor. Yeah. Right.
Well, I think like it's so, it certainly beats cold calling. So there's two reasons why, and I love what you said. One is it gave you an education. And that was the same thing for me. So I've been in BNI off and on for 20 years, and it taught me how to up level my presence, how to articulate my services, right? My products. And it gave me, for me, it gave me a lot of trusted resources that I needed to be able to refer to clients and myself, like my contractor, my plumber, right? I got all of those out of BNI. So it's the gift that keeps on giving. So if you're not in a Business Network International, Google it or reach out to Chwen or myself. We'd love to get you connected, because I think you said something really poignant before the show, is that it took you from a freelancer, which means you're kind of just hit or miss, to an actual consultant.
Like you say, we are accidental. We could be accidental entrepreneur. You can start something by loving to do something like a habit. I see a lot of that in my clients' clientele. All right, from habit, and then they study to grow, and then they become entrepreneur. So likewise, like me, freelancer, you just take 1 or 2 jobs when you are free. But when you become an entrepreneur, you need to be disciplined. You need to have an accountability group that is holding you accountable. In fact, this year I hired 3 coaches. And with that BNI meeting, every week you got to be there, and you better prepare yourself and know what you're going to offer. And you do one-to-one. One-to-one is like one-to-one meeting, right? With people that you met, and most of my clients came from all the cold market. I don't do cold call, but I meet them on the cold market. With Zoom, we do a lot of one-to-one. You just have to train yourself to be out there rather than sitting there waiting for the rabbit to come to you. No,
It's not going to
yeah.
happen, right?
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
you're really into, I know that, you're not necessarily doing the work, but you are able to identify when you look at somebody's online presence, some of you're like, eek, I'm sure you look at their websites and you're like, oh God, that was like, ugh. And I'm sure it's hard not to be, because it's probably their baby. They probably did it themselves, or their friend gave them a hookup. So you got to be careful that you're not like, what in the world is that, awful, ugly website? So what are you seeing out there when somebody finally says, Uncle, I don't want to do it myself anymore, and they go to you? What are maybe the 3 or 4 things that you see are the biggest mistakes that somebody's website has or doesn't have?
Okay. If you go to Google, everyone who's listening, just Google internet marketing tree. You see a tree with like branches and all that. You see a lot of people are spending their money on funneling, on Google, social media, on advertising, all that. But all these branches, when they funnel leads, and when all these people go to your website, and then when they look at your website, the first thing they look at is your website professional enough? Do I feel safe to put in my credit card to buy from you? Or does this entrepreneur or this business has a page on about us? Can I read about this person? What is their credential? Is there a FAQ page? FAQ is frequently asked question. So if they're selling or they're providing, for example, like a dentist office, what is the first step? If I were to go to you, what happened when I have emergency? You have that step by step. You give people a kind of security. So or about us, or contact us. Is there a way for me to call you? Is your phone number on your website? Is there a map on your website? What happened if I wanted to? I need help. Hey, dentist, I need help. I'm in emergency. What can I do? You're still sleeping. Is there something that you have on your website? And what about this dentist? Is he working by himself, or does he has a team? Things like that. I've seen, I work with different kind of clients, and then it's very interesting to work with their stories, because they're all passionate about what they're doing. But again, we want to see the steps. We want to see who are the users that come, the persona, the different kind of people that come into your website. Okay, a wholesaler, or a customer, or just an ordinary, people who just want to check in, or your competitors. What do you want to show them? So these are the things, when you talk about storyboarding, this is what I actually sit down with my clients and we talk about that. And if they are providing packages, and what kind of packages, to the individual who want to do one-to-one coaching, or to the group, or to the corporate who wanted to hire them to go to their office and train their staff. So it kind of like different arena. But most important thing, when I wanted to feel safe to look at your websites, I want to go to your website, the first look, is it professional? You can tell if it's not professional. The wording is out there, and then the logo is on your page. Your logo is kind of like blend in really well. But you have seen people with white background, that the logo did not blend it properly. So someone must have just been amateurs on that. Yeah. So you want to touch it up.
I love that. I mean, that is exactly what I was looking for. I mean, so think about this. I love your internet marketing tree. So people are paying for a Facebook ad or a Google ad that's going to drive them back to their website. But if they go to the website and the website looks janky, I'm afraid to make an appointment. I'm afraid to put in a credit card. I love that. And you want to be able to exude confidence when you look at it. I love that. And people like forget the simplest things, right? So an about us page, the FAQs. And I think that's great. I know you talked about people not having testimonial pages either. How important is having that?
Okay, testimonial, because it's like review. Okay, they can check your review. Right now, everyone, when we buy things, we base on other people's review. Yeah, so on your website, it's your official website. We don't call reviews, we call testimonial. This is important, where the entrepreneurs have a collections of people who love their product and services. This is where you want to showcase that, and you can showcase a few here and there, not too long, but you can also have one whole page if you have like a lot of testimony. I have a client who has a lot of testimony. That's cool. Then you can go and see, because you see, like when I talk about persona, people come in different kind of a background, by age, or by need. When they go to your testimony, they can resonate. As long as they can resonate, they can go to you. Websites are important to any business owner, because people actually check and research about you before they go and engage your product and services.
You hit on something really big right there too, because I mean, I use a corporate website, so I don't have a lot of, say in that, but I have a little personal one, kaideering.com. And, I actually put some testimonials on there about working with me, because you're right. It's that third party credibility. Like, you can say you're awesome, but if someone else can say you're awesome. Now, on those testimonials, do you think you should do more video, or do you think it should be written? Do you have a preference on there right now?
Wow, well, video is going to be a big thing. Video is going to be big things, because people, with all this online presence, people are becoming less patient. And your video shouldn't be too long. It has to be
Yeah.
short. Yeah, and with the Google algorithm right now, if you can have your visitors stay on your website at least 30 seconds, that will help the ranking of your website. So we want to make sure that we have a video somewhere. We want to make sure that once you go into the website, the front page that you see is we call above the flow. Just like when you read a newspaper, right? You fold the newspaper into half. The above the flow is important. It's what captures the client's attention to stay on your website, and then they want to read more, and then they want to scroll down, then they want to click. And as long as you have something that engage them for 30 seconds, then this will help convert, when we call to actions. All this little thing will help your clients to click on the video and watch it, or to click and say, I want to schedule an appointment. maybe not. They may not the first time. They may come back the second time. But you may have a pop-up thing that come out and say, "Hey, thanks for visiting. Would you like to be on email list? Hey, thanks for visiting. Here's a coupon, for your first order." So something like that that pops up that will engage your client. Say, "Hang on, don't leave. Want to check it more?"
I didn't realize that it's 30 seconds on Google and that'll help you rank higher every time.
Yeah, you want people to stay, and engage in your, not necessarily red higher. It's like, yeah, you want them to stay, and so that's what you call the organic SEO,
Yeah.
search engine optimization,
Is there
organic one.
anything
Okay.
else organically that people can do? So if you can get them to stay on 30 seconds with a pop-up or something, is there anything else people can do to help increase their organic rank?
Yep. If you go to your website backend and then change the your not necessary keyword, but also people wanted to search for you, and also you want to update your content frequently. Yeah, that will help your organic ranking.
Good
Of
tips,
course,
right?
people can want to people may want to do aggressive SEM, search engine marketing, Google ad, Facebook ad, and all that. That will also help ranking. Yeah.
Good. So the ads, the how long they stay on, and then put your information like your name so people can find you in that back. That is awesome. And then we talked about how somebody might get the hookup, but then afterwards you need help with that. So definitely, like for me, I if I didn't have somebody doing my website for our corporate, I would hire it out because you can't be good at everything, right, Shwen? I mean,
True. True.
you talked about this as an entrepreneur. We need to stay in our lane, and even when we don't think we can hire it out, we should, because just like I can clean my house, but why should I? You know what I mean? I got a professional for that.
Absolutely. I remember one of my coach, Katharina Randall. I'm sure you know her.
Yes,
She
awesome.
always say, you need to have that self-help. If you do not, sub it up to other people, you are everything yourself. And then in the end, you get nothing done. I learned a lot from her. When I talk about accountability group, she was the one that actually forced me and said, okay, every week we have to do that sales call. Sometimes you just do it whenever you are free. But no, as an entrepreneur, you see that, the discipline, the accountability group, that really matters. So likewise, when we have a website, a web presence, or whatever, we need that discipline to post. We need the disciplines to update our content. We need the discipline to make sure that our website is being cleaned up. Yeah.
Absolutely. When we talked about storyboarding, and folks that are watching live, you can certainly put questions in there, and we can answer those as well. But when you talk about storyboarding, you had mentioned it some food for thought on how to be able to go from point A to point B. So let's say they are a do-it-yourselfer because they got a brother-in-law that's going to give them a hookup. What are some things they can storyboard? And when they say uncle and want to give up, of course they're going to call you or someone like you. But what give them some hints on how to storyboard so the website tells a story and how it goes all the way through.
Okay, thank you. Because we have a lot of CMS out there, right?
What
Some
CMS?
CMS is good point. Content management software. Okay, and people had this myth. They thought that website is free. It's not free. How is this company going to pay their IT? But to build a website, many people just grab the template and just fill in whatever information they want, without really thinking of all the W's and the H. Why do you need this website? Who is going to visit your website? What are you selling? What are you going to tell the people who visit your website? And where do you deliver your product, and where do you serve? Is there a geographical limitation? Okay. And how are you going to deliver your product and services to your clients that visit your website? Okay. So this all, when it comes about storyboarding, it's just a broad term that we use. It's actually sitting down with the entrepreneur. It's like going through their business, really. Why do you want to start this? How do you want to do it? And then when I have all those things in mind, then we will sit down and say, okay, let's structure your internet structure, like a plan for your house. You plan to have this house. So how many rooms do you need? What are the functions of the
Mhm.
rooms? So in a website is the same. It's like a store. When I went into your store, the moment I click on your domain name and I go in there, what do you expect me to see? many times the entrepreneurs are seeing from their own point of view. We need to see it from your customers. What do you want the customers to see? Yeah, I remember one of my clients, he sells cheesecake. The moment you want going to his website, you want to feel like, oh, but I want that cheesecake. I want that cheesecake. Not, oh, I'm so good at this, I'm so good at that, I can do this, I can do that. And then if I want that cheesecake, what other flavors do you have? This is something that is, immediately you wanted to capture the visitor's attention. So this is also one of the storyboarding that we look at. Working with this entrepreneur is very interesting. He took the pictures himself, and I say, oh, no, 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 I'm going to. You have to retake all those pictures. And when he retook all those pictures, he has stories that comes in. Cheesecake at a party, cheesecake as for a special event. Then his own website, turns out to be so juicy. Yeah, we got a lot of good comments on that. It's because of me and him working together. Yeah, so when you want to hire someone else, a relative, to do a website, no problem at all. They're good at that, that's good. But sit down and walk through all the W. Ask yourself, have I, fulfilled this for my visitors A, visitor B? Can my visitor A and B and C see what they really want when they come to my website? Yeah.
And
I mean, just name
I think it's okay if we give Chris Bruner with Chris Bruner's Cheesecakes a plug here today. He's in our BNI and he's got great cheesecakes. I agree.
yes.
So you said something else interesting too, is it's the biggest mistakes you see aren't just, the FAQs and all, it's the pictures. It's the, you're taking them from your iPhone and throwing them up there. It's ghetto. We don't look at that. And the other thing you said that was really important, and I want these entrepreneurs to really catch this, is what you're excited about, all the little letters at the end of your name, you're certified this, certified that. We don't care. Like, we want to know, like, if he was a certified chef and a certified yada, yada, I don't care. Like you said, is your cheesecake yummy? What flavors do you have? How much is it? And how do I get it? Like, it's so smart. Cause I think as an entrepreneur, we get so stuck in the weeds about like, what do we think is important? But it's not like literally it
Mm-hmm.
was funny because I have a friend and they used to always talk about the credibility of Legal Shield, like 50 years old, or talk about the CEO. Nobody cares about, like, listen, what are your attorneys like? How much does it cost me? Am I on a contract? How does it? And it was really eye opening because nobody cares about that stuff. They just don't.
But
Yeah, please.
it depends on the professions. Okay,
Ah,
a
very true.
dentist, yeah, of course. You don't want someone else who doesn't have that credential to operate on your on your mouth. No way. And but we can put that in the about us. You have attorney. You have other professions, the teacher. Yeah. If you have like a learning center, you want to know that these are my teachers. They're all credentialed. So your child is in good hand. So these are the things that we will put it in our about us page. When you have that, your team, about us, philosophy. People want to know about your philosophy because nowadays people want to buy and they want to make sure that they synchronize with what you believe in, your value. Yeah.
I love
Oh,
it.
again, talking about value and time. These are the two things. Anything that you can help your customers save time and gain value. These are the two things that will sell in whatever industry you are in. Yeah. So we want to achieve that objective too when we talk about my client site or yeah, or
So
process.
I know, like, for a lot of folks, they start off as a do-it-yourselfer. So this is a two-part question. At what point should somebody hire a web person? Number one, and number two is what kind of questions should they ask to make sure they hire the right one?
Oh, I love people who have their DIY site too, because then they already organize their thoughts, organize their information. So when I pick it up from there, from their DIY, then I was like, tell me if there's one thing that you would like to change on your website, what would that mean? What would that be? And I do have like some questionnaires. How satisfied are you when you look at your website? They're going to tell me like, someone designed this website for me, but they disappear. I call them the internet orphan you know and I say, okay, so you need somewhere that you have the ability to make changes, right? Yeah. Okay, what about traffic? Can you control your online traffic? Can you control your food traffic? How will people find you? And that's where we talk about SEO. search engine optimization, right? What about social media? Is there any social media icons on your website, or are you on social media at all? If not, yeah, then we can talk, and then we can help you with that. And e-commerce, where do you sell? Then some DIY site, they link it to other third party. That's fine, But are you able to control? We talk about control. We talk about empowering. Is the client able to have that control on their website? If not, then I'll step in and say, look, I would like to give you a demo of what we offer. No obligation. Just tell me if this is something that you would like to change. Just like when you buy a car. Well, you say, oh, I just need a car from point A to point B. That's fine. I can drive any car. However, when this kind of entrepreneurs have been using this car for some time, they say, okay, I need more. When they know they need more, I will be able to grasp what they are looking for, and then I'll see what I can match with what they want. Yeah, typically every business need a website. They need traffic, they need social media, they need visibility on Google, they need email campaigns to keep the communication going, all right, to inform your clients what's new. And then they need analytics to see who has visited your website. They need a secure hosting. You make sure that you're not, easily, targeted by the hacker. And you need support. You need support. So when you get stuck, do you have a support who can help you? Your son, your daughter, your whoever, your IT friend. Yeah.
Those are great questions. So those are the things that people you should be asking, because it is a big world out there online, and it can be very confusing, and you can get into the weeds really fast, really far. So definitely don't go it alone and hire it out. If somebody said, okay, you know what? I appreciate all these incredible tips. I've tried it myself. I'm like, Uncle, I give up. What would be the best ways? I'll put it in the chat that people can, engage with you and get that demo maybe, or, ask you some questions. How would you like for them to engage with you?
Well, go to my website, www.imartconsultant.com. Can I put in the
Oh,
chat?
I got it for you.
Oh,
Consultant.com.
okay.
Great. So
Yes.
this is her website. So let me go ahead and throw that in there. And so if you want to reach out to Chwen, please reach out to her there. All of her information is there. It better be there because she's a web designer. Hello, it better look good. That's your thing there. So thank you so much for being on the show, and just appreciate all the insights, and hopefully you got some great tips and things like that. So with that, this is another great episode. This is episode number 40. This is kind of a banner episode for us. 40 episodes in. I want to thank you so much for all your support. Appreciate you being here on the show live. And for those of you that are watching it on replay, please, leave a comment, tag a friend in here that needs to hear this information. And so we see you every Thursday with On the Fly with Kai at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, all time zones in between, for tips, tricks, and hacks for entrepreneurs. So with that, take care. Thank you again, Chwen. Take care. Take charge. We'll see you
Thank
guys over
you.
the top. Bye-bye.